Hey guys, today I'm going to share some ideas on posing females. Hi, my name is Jerry Gionis. I'm a wedding, portrait and fashion photographer. I've been photographing for 27 years and teaching for 20. I'm going to share some of that experience with you right now and show you how to go from this to this when it comes to posing females. And don't forget, click on the link below or right up here to download my portrait Quickstart and enjoy it for free. So right now we're going to discuss posing tips for women, girls, ladies, whatever your preferred word is totally fine with me. How do you bring out the best in a girl? Well, she's standing in front of you, she's waiting for a good shot, but you have to direct her, you have to bring out the best in her. Now, even though Rainey is gorgeous, she's got a great figure, again, it does take someone to bring out the best in whoever you're photographing. So if we were just standing flat-footed there, Rainey, right to the camera, well, this looks like we're on a firing squad. This is just a very basic way of photographing someone. It's a bit predictable. So what we want to do is this. We want to create some form. We want to bring out the shape. Now, what defines the male form, in my humble opinion, is chest and shoulders. What defines the female form, of course, are curves. So we want to bring out those curves. So first of all, I want you never to ever stand flat-footed, no matter who it is. Even if you're photographing a 12-year-old girl, whether you're photographing a corporate female CEO executive, I find it's just very static for a woman or a girl to stand like this. And of course, these posing ideas have to be age appropriate depending on who you're photographing. At the very least, all we do is put the feet together and bring one foot in front of the other, one knee in front of the other, pardon me. So this will even work with a 12-year-old girl. If you sort of overly bring out sort of shape, it's not going to be appropriate. Now, let's say a female corporate CEO executive, you might want to add a bit of softness to over here, but then a bit of strength in the arms, and you might get her to lean forward like this, and all of a sudden we're showing femininity, but also strength and independence. Fantastic. Now, when it comes to, let's say, complimenting a model or a late teenager or a bride or whatever it may be, these tips are going to be invaluable for you. So, let's talk about this. First of all, the easiest way that you can actually pose someone is really not saying a word at all. And here's what we're going to do. We'll do a demonstration now. I'm going to just say one little piece of advice to Rainey, and she'll follow my perspective here. Let's basically stand about this far apart. Fantastic. And all I want you to do is mirror me. Okay, you ready? Mm-hmm. Perfect. Easy. You see how easy that was? Now, yes, Rainey has worked with me before. She basically knows how I like to pose, and it was easier from that perspective. But I am telling you, 100%, the more you get people to mirror you, the easier it is going to be for people to understand what you want. Now, posing does not have to be a dirty word. The minute you say, I'm going to pose you, people are like, oh, it's a bit stuffy. It implies a very mechanical sort of way of moving. But here's the thing, you ask a simple question to whoever you're photographing. And I might say, Rainey, as beautiful as you are, I can make you shine brighter than ever before with a simple direction. Would you like that?
Absolutely.
Of course. So no one's going to say, no, make me look uglier than I already am, thank you very much. Everyone's going to want to look great. So you give people a logical reason as to what you're doing and why you're doing it. That's a really important part of the process. So educating your client as to what you're doing and why you're doing it. Otherwise, if it just feels awkward, which sometimes posing does, then they're not going to feel good about it, therefore it's going to be a problem. Remember though, women will do anything for beauty. You have to understand that. So again, please educate whoever you're photographing in front of your camera as to what you're doing and why you're doing it. Now, so what we said before that we want to at least put the weight of the body sort of one way or the other. That's a good start for us. But let's start from the beginning. How would we pose a girl to bring out curves in a very systematic kind of a way? So here's what we do. We turn the body on a bit of an angle, okay? So now what we'd like to do is, so if you're mirroring me like you are, point your toe towards the camera, slide the heel back in, bend the knee, shoulders back, lean the chest forward, and then arms off the body. So what we're doing now, guys, you see this beautiful curve. I almost look prettier than you, but that's okay. That's another tutorial. But what's happening here is we're bringing out her beautiful curves. So let me have a look from this perspective. Yep, great angle, great curves, everything's looking really, really good. Now, do you notice something else? Posing is not just posing for the sake of posing. It is you have to pose according to the light source. Now, in previous tutorials, I would have discussed actually very specifically lighting for women. So give you a quick little elevator pitch on what I'm talking about is this. The direction of light's coming from here. It's an open garage door. It could be likened to a big window light. So what I like to do is turn the body away from the light source until we get a shadow on the cleavage, middle of the dress. So now her left leg is closer to the camera. The leg that's closest to the camera is usually the one that you'll always bend. In other words, the weight distribution will be on her back leg. So she puts all her weight in the back leg. If she's doing it correctly, she can lift up her front leg, no problem. So now we're good. Now, also, we said hands on the hips for this particular argument here. And according to the light, we turn her face and then turn it to the light, and then her eyes can go back to the camera. So when you pose a girl with the chin to the outer shoulder with eyes back, it's considered very feminine. So we've got that. That works for us. So now that we understand the foundation of the female form, let's get a bit more specific. So let's just unravel again. If you just stand normally with your hands by your side, now you don't really have that problem, but usually there'll be little pinches of skin that will hang over the dress. That's an issue, especially if you're wearing an evening gown, and as we get older, skin loosens up a little bit. That's just the nature of who we are as humans. But if you want to eliminate those little pinches of skin, all you have to do is actually bring the shoulders back and the arms off the body. Now here's the thing, when you bring a body part on another body part, you flatten it. So in this case, I have very small arms. Now I'll make up with it my height and my brain, but anyway, so if you bring an arm against the body, it looks bigger and flatter. So for a girl, it's a touching point for girls. Girls do not like their arms looking big. See, here's the thing, guys have three problems. We have problems with our gut being big, our double chin, bald head. Women, everything. Women are conscious about everything. One of the sour points is the arm looking bigger. So you always have to understand to bring the arms off the body. You have to give her an excuse to bring her arms off her body. It could be holding her hands up. It could be holding her hair. It could be, for a bride, it could be holding the veil out. It could be anything. Just bring her arms off her body. Even if it's like this and back, at least it's something. So, also, what else happens when you actually bring the shoulders back of whoever you're photographing? Well, let's watch. So just come down back again. If you bring your shoulders back, now what happens is the bust looks fuller and firmer. Every girl's going to want their bust to look fuller and firmer. So shoulders back like this. If you do have a girl with a really big bust and you want to soften that, you can do the inverted bust. Like that horrible pose, for some reason, has been popularized by models all over the world. Everyone just does this. This only looks good, really, for my opinion, over the shoulder and not so much like this. But if you have a girl with a big bust and you want to swallow that bust up a little bit, that's when you make it concave, okay? Not convex. All right. So how else can we make the bust look fuller and firmer other than just bringing the shoulders back? Well, let's do this. So just stand normally. Okay, looking at the camera there. On the count of three, I want you to breathe in fully. 1, 2, 3. So you see that her bust is looking fuller and firmer by doing that. Also, if you want to emphasize something, you'll push it towards the camera and towards the light. In this case, I'm saying that if we want the bust to look fuller and firmer, we bring the shoulders back. We can breathe in, but ultimately, if you turn your body a little bit more away like this, a bit more, point the toe towards the camera again, slide the heel back in, bend the knee, shift your weight back, shoulders back. Now, hands on the hips for one moment, and now lean your chest forward this way, and then turn your face towards the light and eyes back at the camera. So do you see how her bust looks fuller and firmer in that way as well? So we have three ways of doing that, short of actually going in Photoshop and using all those tools that can actually make body parts look bigger or smaller. But we can do it in camera, and of course, if we can, why wouldn't we? Okay, let's talk about something else now. So we've talked about the bust, we've talked about shoulders, we've talked about the body positioning with the feet. Let's talk about hands. Now guys, hands are the most expressive thing after the eyes, so you have to do something with them. Why would you waste that form of expression? So my suggestion to you is understand how you pose them. Well, let's start with this. The best example that I can give you with hands is, if you bring your hands like this, bring your hands on your biceps, and then roll your wrists around like this. What happens is that is the way you pose hands. It's a very delicate, soft little bend. Now, so Rainey, if you're happy to, just bring your hands out like this, and if you can sort of see how our hands are both being mirrored, now go right back and then put them right back into place. So, if, for example, if she was holding a champagne glass, that's the way you'd be holding it. You wouldn't want to hold it like that. If she was holding, let's say, her partner's arm, it wouldn't be like that. It'll be like this. Remember we said? Here, here, here. Nice and soft. Now, bring your hand up like this and just let it go. So right now, Rainey and I are not thinking about our hands. We're not tensing our hands. We're supporting our hand with our arms and elbows. So this is basically it. Now, you see how it's gradually going up to a point? It's considered very delicate. And as I do this, do you notice how my pinky goes up and this goes up? It's almost considered like a ballet pose when you're holding something. This is what you want. You've got to take the air out a little bit. So for me, if you ever forget about posing, my suggestion is, so if we're looking at this, this wide camera here, if we're looking at this, I want you to remember that posing is like a balloon. So if I was to, let's say for example, you were a balloon and we were blowing ourselves up like really stiff, and now let the air out. And then you would naturally, of course, turn to me and you would point the toe and bend the knee. Make sense? So you're stretching it out or you're just relaxing it. So that's how easy posing can be, is when you understand who you're photographing. As far as the female form, being able to turn the body away from the light and the face back in, we point the toe to the camera, shift the weight back, slide the heel back in, shoulders back, lean the chest forward. That is going to be the foundation to the female pose. And when it comes to hands and arms, you need to give an excuse to whoever you're photographing, like I said, to bring her hands off her body. Now, what else could she do? She could basically hold her hair. So let's get your hair on one side. And then you could sort of hold your hair very delicately like this. Right? Perfect. All right. So guys, let's do this. Let's put all that information together, take a couple of shots, and put our theory into practice. Let's do it. So now we've given you a little bit of theory. Now let's put it into practice, to take a couple of shots to give you an idea of how we can execute all these ideas. So right now, actually stay where you are, Rennie. I love that because you're standing very flat-footed. Your body language is suggesting, like, hurry the hell up, I want to go right now, which might happen with a girl that you're photographing, and that's okay. So what we want to do is we want to disarm her a little bit. So just take the arm away a little bit. Okay, so disarm or disarm. Now, we basically said the importance of turning the body away from the light source and the face back in, as well as combining it with that classic foundation of that full-length female pose. So what we'll do, turn your body slightly away from the light. That's it. Point your toe towards me, mirror me. That's it. Slide the heel back in, bend the knee, shoulders back. And then you can put your hands on your hips for the moment. And now turn your body a little bit more towards the light. Just a little bit. There we go. Okay, good. And now turn your face towards the light. A bit more. Gorgeous. Hold it. Eyes at me. Beautiful. Turn your chin more to your outer shoulder again. Gorgeous. Hold it there for me. Hold it. Bring your back heel more that way. That's it. There you go. Too much. So bring that heel back. No, there you go. Good. Hold it there. Beautiful. Now, let's say, for example, with this particular shot, she's got her hands on her hips. And you might say, well, where do we place those hands on the hips? Because there's many ways to do it. The web of your hand should be at the thinnest part of the waist. If you also basically have a plus-size girl, you could hold the bulk of the weight underneath her hand, because the illusion is she's actually that thin, but it's cutting away. But traditionally, the web of the hand going in the thinnest part of her waist. Now that we've established the full-length shot, if we don't like the idea of the left hand being in the image and it being sort of a little bit distracting, we have to do something with it. So Rainey, put all your hair on this side if you're happy to, and then hold your hair very gently using those delicate hands that we had. Perfect, that's beautiful hands. Hands on the hips, actually stay there, because that's a bad version of a pose. Okay, hold it there. You see how she's shifting, go back again? She's shifting her weight the opposite way. That doesn't work because now she almost looks bow-legged. I'm not too sure what the correct term for that is. And it looks weird, and the shadows are falling a bit weirdly on her dress. Now she turns, we hold the dress, gorgeous, turn the face towards the light, eyes at me, beautiful, hold it, gorgeous. Now, one leg is covering the other. That's totally fine. We don't have to see every body part, especially by the nature of the pose, if it's suitable or not. In this case, I want to create curves. So when I see a peak, I want to see a valley. I want to see a peak, I want to see a valley. No different than seeing her bust, and then going down, and then the peak, and then the valley, and so on and so on. The more curves we see, the more beautiful it's going to be. Now, here's a problem. If you could have everything all curvaceous and one anomaly, like a straight arm or a straight hand holding something, it looks weird. Watch this. So if you get those beautiful curves back again, and then I want you to bring your hand, let's pretend like you're holding something with this right hand. Then now we've got beautiful curves in her figure, but then that hand is dangling down being really straight. So what we want to do is we want to slightly sort of bend that hand, whether it's within the body, whether it's sort of up here, you have to give her something to do. Now in this case, let's come a little bit closer to take a couple of shots by using those hands as we discussed. So Rainey, if you want to face me there. Now let's do the hands pose that we did before. So let's start like this. So flat, that's good, hold it there. Good, and now roll the wrists around. Good, and relax those fingers about a bit more. Perfect, good. And then shoulders back. Good, hold it there. Now turn your body away from the light, stop there. Point your toe towards me. Slide the heel back in, bend the knee, shift the weight back, lean the chest forward. Good, and now turn the face, that chin to the outer shoulder. Good, tilt more. Turn the chin more to the shoulder. Good, okay, beautiful. And now we've got a great way of posing hands. Beautiful. Okay, relax. So remember too that curves are really important, as we've discussed, but if you can bend a body part, bend it, especially on a woman, of course. So you never want this being straight. If you can, like the hand is joint to the wrist, you want that bent. The elbow never straight, it's always bent. The legs never straight, always bent, and so on and so forth. That makes a huge difference. So for example, if you're introducing the hands up into the face, let's say for example, you're adjusting your earrings. So don't think about it, just do it sort of naturally. How would you adjust your earrings with both hands? Okay, stop there. So if you see her now, you see how, although she's actually, we're shooting her on a thinner part of the wrist, it's actually shooting more like this. So just even emphasize it more this way. Good, okay. Good as in bad. Okay, hold it there. Okay, now here's a good way of remembering it. If you want, let's say, a shot of a girl adjusting her earrings, simply bring the wrists together like this. And now turn your face towards the light and adjust your earring like this. Perfect. Chin down, lean towards the light. Remember we said arms off the body. We don't make the arms look big or flat. Good. And turn your face a bit more towards the light, Rainey. Good. Nice profile. Beautiful. Hold it. Now, switch your body weight. If you look at your legs there, so that's it. Now bring that right knee over the other one. Good. And turn your hips more left, other way. Good. Huge difference. Chin down, hold it there. Arm off the body one last time. Good, hold it. Beautiful. It's all micro movements. That's what it's all about. So guys, my suggestion is I don't want you to actually go and actually photograph a girl, a younger girl, an older girl, a woman or whatever like that and have no game plan. You must understand the foundation of the female pose. What did we say? Point the toe towards the camera. Slide the heel back in, push the weight on the back leg, shoulders back, lean the chest forward, arms off the body. That will be your best friend. Tattoo it on your face if you have to backwards, so when you look in the mirror, it reads correctly. So make sure you do that. Well, and remember the nuances of hands. If you forget how to pose hands, remember, just do this, relax that, and that's how you would pose a hand on a face. Do that, turn that around, that's how you would pose a hand on a rail or a bench of a girl and so on and so forth. Just remember, simply bring out the best in anyone that you're photographing, and remember, repetition, experience, and practice will be your best teacher. Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that video. Also, do me a favor, give me a thumbs up, please subscribe, and don't forget to click on that bell for notifications of future episodes. Also, leave me a comment. I'd love to hear from you, answer any of your questions, and stay connected. And remember, you don't have to be the best. You just got to be better than last week.